Welcome to my podcast, Shy Girl Gone. This is a rebrand that I'm so excited for because I just I was dedicated to changing the name to Shy Girl Gone because I'm no longer shy. No, I'm kidding. It was dedicated to the growth that I've been through, going from being very insecure and very timid to being this confident person who knows who she is. And while I really wanted to talk about this transformation on this episode, I was going for a walk and just the theme, love addiction, like talk about the love addiction, that really spoke to me. So I am dedicating this episode to love addictions and my experience with love addictions because I've been there, done that, and most of my TikTok videos are about love addictions because, girl, we've all been there. But I will dedicate Shy Girl Gone episode, my transformation, next week. So you better stay tuned. But also with this rebrand, if you haven't noticed, there are tons of other episodes. I've been doing this podcast game for so long now, like a couple of years. There are like almost 80 episodes. So be sure to listen to them all. I was going to delete it and start again, but I'm like, no, actually, some of these are very good. Like I can talk some wise shit. So go listen to those as well. Like spend your whole fucking weekend just binge listening to my episodes because I know they are going to resonate with you. Okay, so what is love addictions? Let's get into it. A love addiction is when you're so chemically bonded to another individual, you're emotionally attached to them. And it's like it completely alters your reality because it pulls you into survival mode. It pulls you into what's safe and familiar to you, which is becoming attached, becoming obsessed, and prioritizing someone else and making everything about them, which is essentially putting them on a pedestal. If you've been here before, you understand how that feels like. You feel so connected to them in a emotionally chemical way. So it's not like you feel comfortable and secure and confident and you've got your life going on. It's like an all or nothing type of situation. And this is because it is chemical, it is emotional, it is trauma bonding. And my whole fucking life has been about being so attracted and being attracted to relationships where they destroyed me. Like I didn't know how to be in a relationship because once I was in a relationship or once I even liked someone, shit changed. My brain, the hormones, everything changed. And I went from liking someone to making it my life mission to it being all about them. And the way that I like to refer this to, it is kind of like you wearing rose-colored glasses. You become so addicted to them. You see them in the lens of what is fake or false. It's not who they are. It's not what it really is. The reality of it is a fantasy world that you create in your mind. That's why when you see people that go through that are in relationships that actually struggle, especially when it's like DV type of situation and abuse, they struggle getting out of it. That's why. It's not as simple as seeing it for what it is. It is like an addiction. The best word I can describe it is an addiction. The rush of highs and lows that you experience is so addicting and it's so familiar that it just wants you, it has you wanting more. So for me, I was able to break out of this And I was lucky enough not to be in abusive relationships. I mean, I was in pretty emotionally abusive relationships, but as in terms of like physical abuse and things like that, I never experienced that. But what I can say is when you realize that you have had enough, that is the moment of change. Last year, I was in a situation where I was dating someone for 4 months or seeing them, and they didn't want to be in a relationship. Like, they really liked me, but they had their own plans and they didn't see me in their future, or it was too hard, whatever. But at that point, I was already attached. I was so invested. I planned our whole future. I've only been together 4 months and I was so obsessed mentally and emotionally. So I was like, great. And so at that point, I built up the courage to be like, well, you don't want to be with me, so I'm going to stop this. And this took a while. I'm not going to lie, it took a while. And he left my life, came back in, left my life, that type of thing. And then it got to a point where it wasn't getting any better and I just was continuously feeling hurt. And the thing with people who are attached is they have this glimmer of hope that maybe they will change. Maybe something will change. Maybe they will want to be with me. But I also believe from my experience that it's very ego driven in the way of like when you know you're not chosen, when you know they are clearly not choosing you, you want to be proven right. You want to be proven right. Like you want to be proven that I want to prove myself that I am chosen. But then your ego is like also wanting to be proven that you aren't chosen because it's a subconscious belief. I don't know if you hear this and you've been through it, you kind of know, you understand what I'm saying. It's like you want to change, you want to feel worthy and be this person that is chosen, but your ego wants to prove it right, which is everything that is going on subconsciously. So I was seeing him and I got to a point where he wasn't going to change. And I tried to manifest changes and he did not want to change. Like he was set. And then I decided, well, I can't have you in my life. And the biggest decision I made was to block him because I was so invested in him. Even after he didn't want to be with me, I couldn't stop. Like I kept thinking about him. I kept fantasizing. I kept manifesting. Like, oh, maybe he'll change. And I was just like, what am I doing? Like, what am I doing? This is sad. There's something deeper going on. And the thing is, I was in this position a year earlier with someone different. It's the same situation that I keep attracting, just in different men. So what is going on? There's something that is going on with me that have me attracting the same type of people. So then when I blocked him, which I knew was the right thing because I couldn't not think about him, I couldn't not search his social media. Like I felt very hurt by him because he didn't choose me. I felt so unworthy. I thought the only way I am going to be able to heal, because I knew it was about me, I knew I had to change something, was by blocking him. When I made that decision, it was the hardest decision of my life. And there were moments where I regretted. I was like, no, I'm just going to unblock him. I'm just going to do it. But I didn't, thank God. And life just got worse. Shit just got worse. I was waking up crying. I was having panic attacks. I was feeling completely abandoned, neglected, rejected. I felt so unwanted. Like I felt broken. And the thing is, this didn't just go away. I couldn't shake this feeling. I felt like a part of me died. And I remember calling my mum thinking, why am I feeling like this? Why is this so dramatic? Like, I feel like I'm going to die. And she was just like, girl, I don't know what this ain't normal because you're not yourself. I said, I'm not myself and I can't snap out of it. And then I decided to go on Google and research, and I realized the number one thing that came up was abandonment wound. I was like, great, okay. So when I realized about this abandonment wound and I did research, I was like, okay, well, I have to heal this, because I was crying like all throughout my day. I had a business that I was not spending any time. All I was thinking about was, well, is he ever going to come back into my life? I've lost him. Like, I feel so emotionally helpless, so dysregulated. I couldn't function. I couldn't go about my day. It just was, I felt like my whole world just crumbled. And so I decided to do something about it. And when you make a decision that you go all in because you've got nothing to lose, because at that point I was just sick and tired of it. I never wanted to let anyone allow me to feel like that again. I never wanted anyone to have that effect over me again, because I knew I'd been, consciously awake for years now. I knew what was going on, and I kept putting in excuses for this person and for like delaying, like putting in the work because it's uncomfortable and whatever. And just when that happened, I was like, I'm fucking done. I am done. And I also said to myself, which would really help you if you're in this situation, I said, if we were in a relationship together, let's just say we just ended up in a relationship, he wanted to be with me. Like, I would have to change. I would have to change, because when you look at the events leading up to where I got to, it wasn't all happy. It was very happy and strong at the start until I started becoming really emotionally invested. And that's when the addictions kicked in, right? That's when I started becoming attached and I started thinking about him more, and then the insecurities started creeping in. And so when I look back at it, I'm like, this was obvious. Like, this isn't just like, it came out of nowhere. I subconsciously knew, but because it was so natural and familiar, like it just happened, I was not really consciously aware of it, but when I look back, I was like, of course this is where I ended up. So this was not new information. I mean, it was new information when I found out, but it wasn't like we were fine and then all of a sudden he ghosted. And if you are in this situation, that could be tough too, but you never know what's going on in the other person's mind. See, at least with this person, I started vocalizing, because I was the type that would never communicate. I'm like, this is too scary. I don't want to speak up because I don't want to scare him away and all of that. So I was very cautious, which is just lying essentially and doing a disservice, because, if you're like that and you're not able to be yourself, then you're allowing them to fall in love with a version of you that's not actually you. And so I know that now. That's why I think it's really important. But yeah, I was like walking on eggshells because I was so scared, like he wasn't going to really like the real me and all of that. So looking back, like, yeah, it was red flags, red flags, red flags. Like, I knew it. And if you have to tell someone to show up a certain way and they don't do it, listen. Just take that as a sign. Don't try to change like I did. But so yeah, going back to the abandonment part. So when I did my research and then I said, look, okay, I'm going to change. It got worse before it got better. And the reason why is because I started becoming aware of everything that was triggering me. Like, I was so lost, like in my mind, my poor little like girl was feeling so abandoned, and I had to show up for her. I had to show up for this poor little girl. I took notice of all of the crazy narratives, stories that I was coming up with, And they were so fucking crazy. Like, to think that when you pay attention, you'll notice, but just to think of like, doesn't want to be with me. I'm never going to find love again. He's the only person that will ever make me happy is really ridiculous now to think of, like, to hear that. But the problem with this abandonment wound and being in like a trauma bond situation and having that love addiction is it's like it's a spell. Like, you have rose colored glasses on where you fantasize, where you think it's this amazing relationship and it's like you have to be with them, even though when you take them off you realize it wasn't that fucking great. Like, I look back now and I'm like, yeah, it actually wasn't that great. What the hell? But when you have those glasses on, you have no idea. You're so delusional. You're so lost in la la land. And when the spell wears off, when you've healed and you've done the work and you become secure within, you see reality and you're grounded in reality, you go, wow. Like, you will see the red flags from the beginning. You will know what's up and you will know where your values are and your standards are, and you won't be afraid to be rejected. You will not be afraid of speaking your truth and disappointing people. I'll tell you that. And this is the result of when you heal your abandonment wounds and your coping mechanisms when it comes to relationships. And the reason why it's really hard, I believe, like why relationships is one of the deepest wounds that we have, is because it mimics the relationships with our parents. Like, I spent my whole life wanting my dad to be proud of me, and so I do the same thing in men in relationships. Like, I spend my whole life trying to prove that I'm lovable, that I'm enough. I did that with my dad my whole life. Of course I'm going to do that with relationships, you know? So it's just things like we grow up needing that unconditional love, needing our needs to be met. We need our needs to be met, if that makes sense. And when they're not, we find ways of adapting and coping and doing things so that we can get our needs met in the way that we need to survive. So obvious signs in love relationships, romantic relationships, is the needing to prove your worth, like being that good girl, like shying away, dimming your light, making sure that you're prim, proper, and you don't act out of line so that you receive the love and the gratification that you need. And that's a survival strategy. And that's what we do in relationships too. We like prove our worth. Not even in relationships. We do this in our work and career and in all areas, because we have this deep fear of being unworthy. We feel so deeply unworthy. My whole life I struggled with feeling like I was broken, like there was something wrong with me. I was inherently flawed. And this showed so vividly in my relationships because I tried to fix my relationships. I was the fixer. I was like, I need to fix every person, even like friendships, because in my mind, me fixing someone gives me a sense of I belong, like I'm worthy, like I'm needed. And if I'm not fixing someone, then there's no use for me. I don't feel worthy. I need to prove my worth. And that's kind of the theme of my life growing up and in my relationships. So if you're someone who tends to fix someone, that's why. And I listened to a podcast episode with Aaron Dowdy and Sahara, I believe her name is. And he was saying, like, in this dynamic, there is the fixer, there is the perpetrator, and the victim. And so, like, for example, in my family, it's like my dad's the perpetrator, my mum's the victim, and I'm the rescuer. So I am the fixer. Like, I try to rescue my mum. And this is what happens in my relationships, the dynamic in my relationships growing up. So healing this abandonment wound alone helped me become secure within. And how I healed this wound was showing up and reparenting this wounded little girl that lived within me, that wanted to reach out to this person, that needed to be chosen, that needed to be wanted. Like, all of those addictions that was so like it was just so much where I felt like I needed it. And when I was going through, I like to call withdrawals because that's what was happening. When I blocked him, I needed it, and I felt like I was going crazy. After 2 weeks of just showing up for my inner child, then I stopped crying. So if you think that you're just going to be fixed after doing this a couple of days, you're wrongly mistaken. Like, it took me 2 weeks just to stop crying, like waking up and crying. I was crying throughout the whole day, like not even just like on and off. I was crying consistently, and it was like I just couldn't shake this feeling, and I was frustrated to begin with. But then I started understanding and learning, like, oh, it's just this little girl inside of me that feels abandoned, feels lost, feels hopeless, and I need to tend to her. And when I started looking at my triggers from that point of view, then I kind of started getting easier on myself. And after 2 weeks, I started, crying less. I stopped waking up crying, and I started feeling a little more like functionable. I was able to do certain things throughout my day where I wasn't completely lost in complete despair and thinking about him and reminding myself how unchosen I am. And then as I just kept doing it, the more and more I did it, I got to a point where I would stop thinking about him. And that was like amazing because my whole fucking day revolved around what he was doing, if he still cares about me, if he's thinking about me, all of that. So once I got to that point, I was like, whoa, I'm doing something here. This is amazing. And now a year on, I have healed, where my last relationship I was in for about 4 to 6 months, and it was a long distance relationship, and me, long distance, could never do. It was such a different experience because I had gone into that relationship a completely different person. I was first of all, I didn't want the relationship. I wasn't looking for a relationship. I was kind of just like enjoying my life. But he came in and I was very like, I don't know how to use the word. I wasn't a biatch or anything. Like, I was firm with what I wanted, because when you do this work and you've come so far, you're not going to let anything fuck that up. So I was like, look, if you want to be in my life, then you've got to reach to my standards. That's how I kind of approached it. And I was just very honest. I was very myself, like from the beginning. And I wasn't afraid that he was not going to like me or reject me. I wasn't tiptoeing around what he would like. I certainly wasn't trying to fix or change him. There was a point where I noticed where, like, if he had problems, and then I would be like trying to coach him, and I'd be like, I can't do this. Like, be there to support him, and that's it. But other than that, like, I was healing still at the time. And because I was so aware, I told him about it. I'm like, this is what I need. This is what I want. If you can't give me what I need and you can't support me in the way that I need, then this isn't going to work. And I remember saying that, and I was like, damn, girl, we have come so far. I was so proud of myself. And now, just looking back at that, I'm like, wow, your girl's grown. I have come so far. And I'm so proud, because that relationship was probably the first like non-trauma bonding relationship that I have. It was where I could focus on myself, my life. I was so dedicated to my goals, even though it was long distance as well. I wasn't insecure. I wasn't like, what is he doing? Is he messaging me? Like, I wasn't like that. I was very dedicated to my life, to focusing on my business and my dreams. And I wasn't stuck focusing on him and thinking about him all the time and like, when is he going to message me, like I had done in every other relationship leading up to it. And I even remember thinking back now, like, he wanted to be in a relationship and I was like, nah, I don't know yet, like, let's just wait and see. And it was the first time in my life that I really truly felt chosen, but it wasn't It wasn't that he was choosing me, that I felt chosen. It was because I chose myself, because I had done the work with my little girl inside of me, that she felt chosen by me, that she felt wanted, that she felt important, that she felt loved, and she didn't need anyone else out there to choose her to feel that way. And it was the first time I stopped seeking permission, and it was the first time I truly started filling up my cup. And my cup, listening to my needs, prioritizing my needs, putting myself first, and decentering men too. Because the problem is that a lot of people, when they go through the love addiction, they are trying to fill up someone else's cup from an empty cup of their own. So their cup is empty, and they're trying to fill up another person's cup. But your cup is fucking empty. So why? Why are you doing that? That's why when you hear people say, choose you, this is what I mean by choosing you. It's cutting off the energy supply to someone, which is probably like going to drive you crazy, and it's the hardest decision, and you're going to try to talk yourself out of it. But it's the best decision you can make, because when you stop that energy supply, you're taking back your power and you're dedicating your life to you, because you are the main character. You are the center of attention, and you should be selfish. You should be fucking selfish. For the first time, I really feel so secure within, because I stop putting people first. I stop prioritizing other people. I stop putting men on a pedestal, and I no longer look at a relationship and think, I need to have it. I need to be in a relationship, making being in a relationship the center of my universe, and needing to find love, because I'm already fulfilled within. I've got everything within me right now. Like, when you heal and you become so secure, your standards are high. Your standards become so fucking high. Your value is something that you kind of learn, you figure out how valuable you are throughout the process when you decide to put yourself first and heal yourself, because no one can show you how valuable you are. No one can give you value. They can add value to your life, but you are the one that holds that value within. Does this make sense? There's nothing that someone else can give to you that will fill up your cup, that will make you feel complete, that will be of value. Like, your value is already something that you obtain within right now. It's just about discovering that. And the easiest way to discover this is just think of this right now. How many people out there in this world are you? How many? None. Zip. How many people in this world are there? 8 billion people. And there's only one of you. So already you're valuable. The fact that you exist makes you valuable. You're amazing. You're an incredible human being. You have a big fucking heart. You give too much, but you still give, and you love on other people. Like, you're fucking valuable. And not everyone deserves access to you. Not everyone deserves your energy. And the more that you work on yourself, the less you allow people to gain access to you. And you see that word. You start to see that. It's like something that just pops up in front of your face. So we're at about 30 minutes. So this is kind of all I wanted to talk about. If you have any questions, let me know. I have an abandonment wound course that is out now. It's actually on pre-sale because I'm just finalizing the recordings. But if you pre-purchase it, you will get access to a big discount, and then it will become available within the next couple of days. So if you're listening back to this, then I'm pretty confident it will be available. But get your hands on it, because I walk you through a step by step. I'm the type of person that needs to know step by step with everything I do. Like that's how my brain works. So if I get given all this information, I get overwhelmed. I need a step by fucking step process. So I decided to create this mini workshop. It's very simple. It's all about the abandonment wound, kind of what we talked about. But I go through exactly step by step on how I healed my abandonment wound and what process that was for me. And then you get given the practices and you just do it every single day. And you do it every single day, your life will fucking change and you will become secure within. Trust me, it is so worthwhile, because when you fucking realize your worth, your whole world changes. You show up in a completely different light. You look at life so differently, and you know you're the main character of your energy. You know you create your reality. There is no one else in this world but you, because you perceive it. You know, you perceive reality through your own perception. That's why, like, be fucking selfish. Be selfish. Work on yourself. Put that guy aside. I know right now it feels like it'll be the end of the world, but trust me, it's not. You will look back and you will probably be so disgusted by them, because you will realize how ewy they were and how delusional you were. And that's okay. That's okay, because we can laugh about it now. And be sure to check out the next week's episode on Shy Girl Gone. Bye.